Should designers focus on traditional roles, graphic, fashion, UI, UX, or move into more hybrid fields like design research, experience design, or speculative design? I think this is again um, a reconfiguration of what we've already addressed.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, if I'm going to be honest, the world is evolving rapidly, and they say that AI is going to take a lot of jobs. I believe AI is also going to create a lot of jobs. I mean, that's what they said about the Industrial Revolution, right? The Industrial Revolution is going to take all the jobs. What are people going to do after the Industrial Revolution? But hey, the Industrial Revolution also created a lot of jobs. So I don't think AI is something to be feared. But yes, we are, to be very honest, to be very pragmatic, uh, what we define as a traditional role in design is being reconfigured to a large extent, and this is a very dynamic career path. It's a very dynamic career choice. So if you are someone who's like very adamant about just doing XYZ, I don't think that is viable in the long run, because this path requires you to be a bit more malleable, and it does require you to adapt, but not necessarily entirely forego your core. So it's basically design thinking, design process, design principles. They are your core, but the way in which they are applied and integrated are very dynamic. So that is something that is always going to keep changing, and you have to learn to adapt to the times, or you need to keep finding your niche, or you need to establish yourself in order to be able to navigate waters. Because hey, this is like the classic order or chaos question, right? I mean, look at the economic or the financial and the geopolitical um, state we are in right now. It is very, very chaotic. It is very unprecedented, and we are going through a lot. And AI is posing to be a great challenge, apart from a lot of other issues at play. And I mean, how long are you going to play with the same set of moves, or the same five moves, when the situation that you're given is something entirely new? So you have to uh, recalibrate your moves. You have to recalibrate how you think. You have to change your perspective, and you have to find something new to do that would suit the situation better.
Nice. I do agree with that. And what I feel is the minute you start with your design journey, let me tell you, you're in on a ride. Because hota kya hai ki, like you start with doing A, and in a few years you're doing J or K or L. 1 month you're doing M, next month you're doing
Are we sure
Y.
we're talking about design, Kshitij?
But,
Sorry. My bad, my bad.
but
My
what I
bad.
mean to say
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
let's say, for example, let's take your example. You started with textile design. While you still hold a lot of interest in textile design, you're doing a lot of fashion communication related work now. So it's going to take you places. And while I think you have to adopt adapt actively, it is also something that happens as you go, and you don't always have to do it actively. What I mean by that is, let's say you start off as a graphic designer, and you are, let's say, imagine you're working with a restaurant chain as a graphic designer, right? You work with them for 1 2 years. Now, while your core is graphic design, you have a lot of experience in terms of what's going on in the food industry or the restaurant business, right? So you've already kind of developed a niche, even though that was not your intention. So as you work with brands and clients, you end up also gathering experience of, things which are a little bit related, and you develop your own niche. So let the journey also take you places. You don't always have to strategize. As you work, something clicks, you like something new, and once when you look back, you understand ki, okay, like there is some structure to this, and this is something that is very special, and my journey is very special in that sense. So yeah, I think you would develop your own niche, so you don't have to really sit and be like, if I want to be a traditional designer, or a contemporary mixed media designer, or anything of that sort.
Mm.
Because anyways, you're going to have to, as we discussed in the last point, you would have to strategize, you would need to know about market a bit, what's happening, you would have to understand what are the business folks, or like the management or marketing folks talking about, what are their needs, what are the customer key needs. So yeah, I think your journey will be unique to you, and it will show you the path, is what I think.